Hiya, hiya. I was looking at the works of Zbigniew Brzezinski. He was I believe, the National Security Advisor for President Carter during the Carter administration. And he actually started this liberalism that you have in this extreme left of the Democratic Party right now. Go back and read some of his books. Matter of fact, his philosophy is responsible for a lot of conflicts in the world. Uh, go by the Democratic Party. Just do your research. Don't believe anything anybody tell you, because people can lie, they can make up stuff, and they can try to deceive you. However, when you do your due diligence and do your own research, you know for yourself whether what they say is true or not, because you're doing your own investigation. And this is something they don't do in the schools or in colleges. They teach you as if this is the law. This is a fact. And I notice I'm being a very curious person. In college, for example, in a literature book, I found some literature, man, I like to read that really spoke to me. They would never cover those. They would always cover something mediocre, in my opinion, something that supported a agenda. You know, we had this ever since the privatization of schools. You know, Roosevelt did that. Did you know schools were one time free? Yes. They were supported by the state and the taxes of the citizens. People talking about getting free education. We had it. And being supported by the state, there was no hidden agendas. There was no political agenda. It had to be. It was controlled by the people. So what we have today is total chaos. Thank you, Zbigniew Brzezinski. You just one of them. There's quite a few of them. Abraham Lincoln is another one. See, these people created chaos. Lincoln's not who you think he is either. Yeah, I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln. A lot of history about him is hidden. But he don't hide it. Go read some of his books. He tell you exactly what he's about. Wow. I'm gonna go through some of his books. Maybe if somebody reminds me, if somebody interested, I'll go through some of Abe's books. And that's why because of his philosophy and his views, this is why the South rebelled, the Confederacy, because you had the Articles of Confederacy, right? That was an agreement. That was a contract. He said, "The heck with all that. We want to control you. We want the states to be our minions." And being God-fearing people, They all say, hell no. Go do, go to, what this guy say, Double H Goldfields. Uh, just look in the chat if you want to chat. I don't know. I really don't know if the chat's enabled or not. I have to go and check. Um, I've been intending on coming on for quite a while. I actually had an appointment for 7:30, and things came up. Well, let me show you the agenda for the day, class. This is what I want you to do today. If you are able to, if you got the time, go through the first chapter, The Unseen Hand, An Introduction to the Conspiratorial Views of History by A. Ralph Epperson. And we're going to discuss that. I mean, this guy, wow. This was just written in 85 or early 90s. He did his work on this. This is like a life work where he went all into history and showed you how everything that happens was in history is not an accident. Everything was planned. Not there's no accidents in politics and plans of men. There's no such things really as accidents as all. And government has always been seeking to, ever since the fights them days where the king would have rights to your wife on her wedding night. You think things have changed much? You think things have changed much? I'm talking about the modern European history of the ancient Britons, my descendants. We never experienced that. We may have been guilty of doing some of that. That's why I can understand the hostility, uh, a lot of, I would say, pale Americans, like the pale horse. I can understand a lot of hostility they have to indigenous organic people. Those who are well read know what we did to them. So we had to experience it. In other words, what you do to other people is going to come back to you. So we had to know what it feels like to be the underclass. We held Europe as underclass for centuries. So we had to know what it feels like. Been on top, now we're going to put ourselves on the bottom. We did this. We want experience. That's all life is about experiences. Not that's all life is, but that's the greatness of life, is experiences. I'm not saying do what you want to do, like Albert Pike. I'm not talking about immorality. I'm talking about moral view. And the amazing part about education is that it was taken from the people. The people had control. The people were smart. See, the reason why governments benefit from people being dumbed down because they can keep them slaves, debtors, which is the same as a slave. If you're always paying somebody, You working for them. You working to pay them. They made you their slave. And while they live very, very well. And the masses mostly are dumb, but they support it. They say, okay, I'll do that. Just give me a roof over my head, a home, and a car. I'll be your servant for life. This is the thing of the gentle masses. They do not reject being a debt slave. Color and race ain't got nothing to do with it. It's what you will put up with, who you are. You're a child of God, you're not going to put up with that. Nobody can take away your God given freedoms. You can only give them away. All right, anybody want to come in? Let me go open the chat. Let me see if the chat is open. I don't know if I can do that online. I don't think I can open the chat. Let's see. Let me hit this, see what this is. Nope, that's not it. This don't work. Let's see this. Nope, that don't work. I don't know how to open the chat. So I'm gonna say adios. And let's discuss this first chapter. And get this book as well. If you don't read at a fast speed, I mean, if it takes you a while to read a book, you need to change that. And especially you need to teach your children at an early age. They'll be brilliant. You see, the mind is much greater than people give it credit for. The schools teach you to read one. It's funny, but it's serious. The schools teach you to read one word at a time to keep you dumb. How can you read anything reading one word at a time? No, you're supposed to read fast. I mean, try it just without even getting understanding. Try reading fast and just see how your brain is illuminated. Just scan something real fast and see does it give a jolt to your brain. That jolt to your brain is that, hey, what's going on here? It's interesting. I don't know what these words are, but I'm gonna figure it out. So it's like teaching the brain how to capture the page. That's something you can teach the brain. The brain is unlimited. So all these superpowers, they're in your own hand, but you got to nurture them. You got to discipline yourself. See this picture with the eye and the head. You're reading ideas. You're looking for ideas, keywords to keep the picture in your mind as you read. And you can turn a page every few seconds with that idea. Hiya to the tribe. We'll talk later.